More veterans are dying from suicide in America on a daily basis than average daily combat deaths in the Vietnam or Gulf Wars. Could psychedelics prove the key to helping solve the suicide epidemic? A growing number of veterans say yes, and a contingent in California is pushing to approve a new bill that would help fast-track studies on the therapeutic uses of psychedelic drugs. Among them is one veteran I spoke to, Joe Hudak, who's a 20-year veteran of the Green Berets. And he found that after returning from deployments in Afghanistan and Iraq, he was struggling with really terrible PTSD and depression, which even led him to attempt to take his own life.
My last deployment was really violent. We lost a couple guys and a couple dogs, and my guys kind of in their search for why our teammates died, they ended up just saying it was my fault. I took on that shame, and I started to just come apart. I did all of the medications, the chit chat therapy, all the experiential stuff. I was still kind of depressed a lot and really kind of angry for no reason.
That was until he traveled to Mexico to participate in an observational study led by Stanford researchers looking at the effects of a psychedelic called ibogaine on Special Forces veterans.
It was an absolute game changer. It feels like it's a decade worth of therapy done in 5 days. And, I support all of the legislation that's coming out that, Vets is working on.
This new California bill, AB 1103, is sponsored by a nonprofit organization called Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. This group helped send Joe and more than 1,000 other veterans to Mexico for the ibogaine treatment, and they're really passionate about getting more research moving forward in America.
This is something that we can probably use really quickly to help out a lot of people in need. From the Stanford results, it's like you look at the results in all of these mental health issues. So yeah, those numbers applied to the suicide statistics, that's pretty easy math, even for me.
And they found that having veterans be the voice advocating for these psychedelics is a really useful tool. Because traditional psychedelic supporters might be more sort of hippie, tie-dye clad, left-leaning, veterans, on the other hand, represent a more conservative and often right-leaning group, and they've been really effective at talking to both sides of the aisle and getting bipartisan legislation passed. For veterans like Joe, it's not a question of whether psychedelics have potential, it's a question of whether the state will move fast enough to let the science speak.